What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking to you a little bit about a new e-liquid. I say e-liquid, it's a Nic Salt that I've come across. Okay, we know this brand for their disposables, but they're branching out. Alright, these guys have branched out and it's definitely for the better. So let's take a look at the ELUX Legend Nic Salt range. Let's jump in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I said, squad, today we're talking ELUX Nic Salts. These bad boys have blown my absolute fucking mind. I cannot get over these. These things have been an absolute pleasure to vape. And I've been smashing these far too much at the moment. So the ELUX, like I said, we all know these from disposable vapes primarily. I think we've all had an ELUX bar at some point. And I've got to say, the flavours that I got from the bars were pretty much spot on. I was absolutely loving them through and through. So when they released a Nic Salt range, I was quite excited by this because I know the flavours, I know the sort of blends that we got, and I sort of thought, are these going to be on point with the disposables? Because let's be honest, the disposable, while convenient, it's not always the most sustainable thing for us, okay? So I use a lot of pod devices as well as like my mechs and my box mods and all that kind of shit. So, you know, having that sort of variety in my collection, it makes a big difference. It makes a massive difference for me. So I wanted to have a look at the ELUX and sort of Nic Salts, because I mean I've seen disposable brands do this kind of thing and it's kind of fell a little bit short in my opinion. So I really was intrigued. So I got 4 flavors. I got 4. My green screen absolutely hates one of them, in case you hadn't noticed. But we're gonna talk about them. So there's quite a few flavors in this range, which was first and foremost quite impressive for me. I do find when these brands start to do this kind of thing, they do sort of like a 5 sort of flavor range just to sort of test the water and see how it is. It looks like fuck that. We're diving in feet first here. If we're doing a range, we're doing a range. So they've actually got a blueberry, cherry and cranberry, which is one of the flavors I've got here. Mr. Blue Raz. I mean, come on, I love a blue Raz. We've also got a fizzy cherry, a gummy bear, kiwi, passion fruit, guava, lemon and lime, menthol, strawberry watermelon bubblegum, tiger blood, triple mango, and watermelon ice. So there's some standard flavours that you kind of see out there now from Nic Salts, like the Blue Raz. But Nic Salts being what they are, the ELUX needed to go one step further, and they made theirs so much more punchy than what I was expecting. The 4 that I got, I mean, straight away, the one thing I did like from ELUX, the way they've sort of packaged these up is very similar to a disposable. You know, so we're used to seeing stuff like this from ELUX. So we're like, you know, we stick with what we know, don't we, at the end of the day? So you see that on a shelf, it's ELUX. Yeah, I'm confident. But inside these, you were greeted with a little silver pouch, very similar to how you get your disposables. Inside that pouch, instead of having your disposable, you had a 10ml bottle of Nic Salt. What I loved with these, right, one, the flavours, okay? I'm not going to lie, this blueberry, cherry, and cranberry absolutely blew my fucking mind. This thing, the flavour as a whole, the blueberry and the cranberry pair together very well. Very, very well. Alright? I cannot stress that enough. But then you get a nice little smack from the cherry on the exhale, but it's not overpowering, it doesn't take away from the other flavours, and it all comes together really, really fluently. So this, for me, was an absolute winner. I actually had to stop using a couple of these flavours and actually pack up a few more pods into one of my egg slims, because I was very aware I was going to smash these in nothing flat. So, you know, I had to kind of keep alternating them around just to stop myself from vaping them. But yeah, the blueberry, cherry, and cranberry was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I cannot fault that flavour in the slightest. The same with the blue raz. I mean, the blue raz, I do consider myself now like a blue raz connoisseur. I mean, my palate loves a blue raz. And I'm very picky with my blue raz. I find some companies do a blue raz very well. Some companies fall a bit short. Or they make it a bit too much like a slush. You know, it's just not right. This thing, beautiful. Perfection. Spot on. This is everything I wanted from a blue raz. Absolutely everything I wanted. And it was so refreshing as well. You know, I did get a little bit of iciness to it, but it wasn't that much that, you know, you're starting to get a bit of rain freeze and shit like that. It actually made a big difference with the flavour. Even with the menthol. I mean, fuck me. Menthols. Menthol, I don't know what the vape industry does with a menthol. They seem to want to blow your head off when you vape a menthol. The amount of menthols I've had, and literally it feels like I'm taking the first breath of my entire life on a winter morning. I'm like, cold as shit. This menthol did remind me of the days where I was smoking menthol cigarettes. It was very, very close to that sort of sensation. It wasn't overly cold. It was quite a warm vape. But the mintiness from the menthol was perfectly balanced. And the other one that I had was the Mr. Blue, which was probably my biggest surprise out of all of them. Because I always find with these sort of flavours that's Mr. Blue or Hulk's Big Toe, that kind of thing, you don't know what the flavour is. Alright, and a lot of these tend to, in my opinion, come out a bit Heisenberg-y, you know, bit of aniseed and shit like that in there, which I absolutely fucking hate. So the Mr. Blue, I was like, let's take a chance. We'll take a chance on me. Yeah, that kind of shit. So I put it in, and instantly I could smell it, and I didn't get that sort of aniseedy weird flashback to trauma of vaping aniseed. It didn't happen, right? This thing was fruity. Fruity as hell. This is actually a mixed berry type juice. And on a summer's day, I can see this thing being an absolute winner. It was perfect. But the other thing that I do like with the ELUX Legends range, they've made a bold choice here. We've gone with different formats for your Nic Salts. It's not just your standard straight up 20mg Nic Salts. We can get these in a 10ml as well. So if you want to start weaning yourself down from the Nic Salts, or you're just starting on Nic Salts versus your disposables, 10mg is a good place to start. Especially as like I'm using the Oxfors, right? I'm loving Oxford at the minute. These things have a adjustable airflow on them. I've got various coil type pods. So having that lower nicotine strength is actually quite beneficial, because at least then if I am taking longer draws, or I'm, you know, getting into the habit of suddenly I'm direct to lunging it a little bit, I'm not suddenly seeing stars, mad nicotine rush and all that kind of stuff. I can start lower with these and suit it to my vaping preference. That is a very good decision made by ELUX there. All of these are 50-50 juices as well, which means they're suitable for most pods out there. So you got no excuse really, because we all know disposables, as much as they are fantastic, there is a place in the market for disposables. They're pricey. They are absolutely pricey. I mean, you look at, you know, things like your Elf bars or your Lost Mary bar, all that kind of stuff that we all like. You're looking at about £5 or £6 for one of these bad boys. And let's be honest, you're getting 600 puffs out of those. And you tend to find reality being a couple of days, maybe 3, it's dead. It's dead. You got 2ml of juice to last you. But you paid £5 or £6 for the privilege. You can pick up Nic Salts for cheaper than you think. Now, I know a lot of people out there go, oh yeah, alright, how cheap is cheap? Now, as some of you know, I am the face of the eLiquid Samples YouTube channel. So I have just done a video on these as well over there. So I know right now I can buy these from them. So they tend to be like my go-to for any sort of brands. They do various Nic Salts. Okay, not just the ELUX Nic Salts, but we can get a hold of you know, all different manner of things on there. So a lot of people are a bit concerned into how much they can actually spend when it comes to any sort of new sort of era for them. One of these 10ml bottles on ELUX Samples will cost you £3.49. So straight away, that is so much cheaper than buying a £5 disposable. It is. It's basic math. However, you get 2ml of juice in that disposable, 10ml. Now, like anything that's TPD compliant, all pods in the UK have to be 2ml liquid or less. So most come as 2ml. So I'm able to fill this 5 times for less money. But I'm getting the same flavour and the same sort of, you know, nicotine hit and things like that I'm loving from the disposable range, but it's keeping me more money in my back pocket. Yeah, okay, you've got to buy a pod. But the reality being, these pods so much more easier to maintain. They are just as easy to use as a disposable. I mean, these Oxfords, they're breath actuated. I need to charge this one, but these are breath actuated. I mean, this one's got a little button on it. I got adjustable airflows and stuff like that. But there's other pods on the market you can buy where you just fill your pod, drop it in, vape. Exactly the same operating procedure as a disposable. So there's no more complicated sort of mixed signals and stuff like that in there. But you're buying this to put in there, and it's cheaper. Fuck me, it's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. When you got brands like ELUX helping you go from the disposable into the pod world, we're gonna get you off your cigarettes. It works as a transition for you guys. But let me know in the comments, guys. I want to know, have you tried the ELUX Legends range? I mean, honestly, I'm blown away by this. I do want to try some of the other flavours. I really, really do. Have you tried them? I want to know. I'm a nosy guy. We all know this at this point. Let me know what you think of these in the comments below. If you're still using disposables, you know, have you tried Nic Salts? Have you tried to transition or anything like that? Let me know your processes and stuff. But make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, all the usual stuff. Please tick on the little bell doodad. I appreciate every single one of you and the support that you give the channel as a whole. And the support you give us on our other socials. So please check out our other socials. I'll leave the description below. I will link these up on the ELUX Samples website too in the description below. So if any of you do want to pick them up and check them out, ELUX Samples is a good place to pick that kind of thing up. And they don't, you know, beat you up over the price. You know, the price is nice and cheap on there. So yeah, go and check it out, guys. But as always, been a pleasure. It's been a nice little pleasure didgeridoo. I've got some stuff coming up over the next few weeks. Make sure you check in back in. All right. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care.
Yeah. Yeah.